All right, welcome everybody. Junior Arborist training session, February 4th, 2026. Wintry outside and cold, but inside we're warm enough, and we're going to talk about what is a tree. So what I think would be fun to start with is to think about, quite literally, what is a tree? And to do this, what I would like is for us to imagine that I am an alien from some world where there are no trees, and I've never seen a tree before, and have no idea what a tree is. So what I want from you all is to describe for me what a tree is, and from what you tell me, I will try to draw this tree. So help me out here. Throw me a bone. What is a tree? Yes.
It's woody.
Okay, it's woody. How do I draw woody? What does that mean?
It has wood.
It has wood. What is wood?
It's sort of a firm plant material.
It's the right of like living tissues and
Okay.
live material. So like the tree is a living being.
A tree is a living being. So, I mean, on my planet, this is what living beings look like. Am I getting close to a tree? Does this look like wood? Tell me what.
Imagine like solid lightning going through the ground and like just a bunch of that just in it. That's like the bottom. That's like its like, well, it's not really its feet. It's more like its mouth, but like, yeah. Well, I mean, like in the ground. That's not in the ground.
Okay, well, so this is the ground here. No? Oh, okay, so it's like in the ground like this. Or like this. Ah. Some of both. Okay. Okay. And that's a tree?
No, that's just like that's 1/10 of it.
It's like 1/10 of it.
That's the tree below ground.
So is a tree big or small then?
Yes.
What else can you tell me about a tree? What I mean, is this it?
It's partially in the ground and partially outside of the ground.
Okay, so we've got some in the ground and some out of the ground.
The part that's out of the ground is firm.
So
It's a tall and it's skinny and it's kind of it has a weird base.
oh, a tube. So like this?
Yeah. We're getting somewhere.
What about this stuff down here? Is this in tubes too?
No. Kinda. Well, yeah.
This is more like string.
Yeah.
There's strings down here, you're saying?
Yeah. And the strings are attached to each other to get smaller.
Whoa. Okay. So they're attached, and they get smaller. I should have a smaller pen or something.
And then attached to the tube are smaller tubes
When they go off,
that come out of the
they point up and they kind of are at like 30 to 60 degree angles from the top. The tall part, the skinny part in the middle.
30 to 60 degree angles.
going up.
Oh, going. Sometimes, okay, some go down Some go up like this.
And then they just keep branching out and getting smaller.
Oh, cool.
And there's like really flat hands.
Flat hands. Okay. Like old people hands. Okay, okay. Where is this what I'm drawing? The old people hands right here?
The lines are going to go on the ends of those bits that you just drew.
The old people hands. I don't know if those look like old people hands or not.
There's just lots of those.
Lots of hands? Like how many?
Hundreds, maybe thousands.
Holy cow. Okay, so I'm going to be here all day drawing hands. So, is there, I mean, how can I do a shortcut? Like this? Okay.
Like cotton candy.
Like cotton candy. Okay, we do have cotton candy on my planet, on my world, so I know about cotton candy. I mean, maybe I've got to make more of this stuff in here, right? Because you said maybe millions? Good Lord. Okay.
And the cotton candy is like made up of a bunch of little green things.
Oh, green!
Yeah.
Good, I do have green here. Isn't that lucky?
But sometimes it's other colors.
Yeah.
What? Really?
Yeah, like yellow or red or orange or brown.
Okay, okay.
Usually all trees were actually not green, and they were more blue.
I think it's red, right?
That's like what their base color is. It's like red, and then they pour those inside into it.
Well, normally only one of those colors at a time.
Oh, whoops.
But
You can eat
Well.
green,
But this one's got character.
Okay. Grandma hands. So are we getting close to what a tree
This is one
at least
kind of
looks
tree.
like? Or
Yeah,
this is one kind of tree?
one kind.
Okay,
Any kind.
okay.
I can see this on my world and believe that it's.
You would recognize this as a tree?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, cool. Okay, so I mean, yeah, right. This is a representation of my sister, Gorilla Tricks, we'll call her. Anyway, so I mean, a silly little way to kind of help us think about, what we think of a tree, and it's also interesting to note, the kinds of assumptions that we make about what a tree is too, right? So, what is a tree? And how can we tell a tree from different kinds of plants, right? So, I don't know how well you can see those photos there, but all the way at the left, what kind of plant? Can you tell what that is?
Grass.
Yeah, grass, and then tomatoes. I don't know if you can see what that is. It's a lilac bush. And then it kind of looks similar. Not bad, not bad. So, I mean, again, this exercise helps us to think a little bit about what a tree is, but then what are the differences from other kinds of plants? We talked already a little bit about what you were saying earlier, trying to describe to me wood, right? Yep. but what are some of the other distinguishing characteristics between trees and other kinds of plants? No trick questions here. Just play along.
Woody and herbaceous.
Yeah, woody versus herbaceous. That's a big difference.
Flush and green, stalks and leaves versus solid, trees, solid.
Yeah.
Natural.
And along with that particular kind of characteristic, there are some other really important characteristics that get built in that distinguish a tree from other plants, such as like perennial versus annual. So annual means it's a plant that basically has to start over every year annually, versus perennial, which means it's something that can persist year after year after year. I mean, to a certain longevity. So one of those other important characteristics that distinguishes a tree from other plants is longevity, right? I mean, most trees outlive most other kinds of plants. There's always exceptions, and that's fair and fine. But so that's another important distinguishing characteristic. And I mean, it's extremely obvious, but maybe one of the most recognizable differences is just the size, right? I mean, the size of a tree, and that one is a good example too, compared to the size of most other plants too. So most of this is pretty obvious, but it helps us just to think about, again, assumptions about what a tree is and how we are able to recognize a tree from other things. So trees and plants are all related to each other, and personally, I love thinking about how different things evolve, and including trees. And so if we can get this video to play, this is, I think, a pretty good way to think about the evolution of trees. And this is a very, very simplified representation of where trees came from. And we'll hear more of the details in the video, but it just helps us to see, for instance, okay, up at the present, we've got people, and there's a pretty recognizable tree, and some of the other things that we recognize. And if we look at the line that trees come from, it comes from way, way, way back at the beginning of life on Earth. In other words, plant life is one of the earliest kinds of life on the planet, and it's from that early kind of life that trees evolved slowly over millions and millions of years. Whereas people, I mean, humans, we're mammals, and I mean, we're like 2/3 of the way up the branches there, and then people are even took us even longer to evolve. Anyways, trees and their process of evolution is very, very old. So let's play this. That guy talks really, really fast, or the editing is really, really fast. It's a little annoying. But part of what he points to is, talks about is cellulose and lignin. And these are core components of all plants, but the wood that is in trees is present in the plants that become trees, that are trees, in much higher rates than in other trees. And that's kind of what this this is a very basic table here that only shows a few kinds of plants and groups trees into two broad categories, hardwoods and softwoods. But what it illustrates is that the combination of cellulose plus lignin is higher than the combinations in these other kinds of plants: corn, cobs, grasses, wheat, rice. Just some very brief or basic examples of the differences between the composition of cellulose and lignin in trees versus other plants, which is what produces wood, and allows certain plants to become trees and other plants to be strawberries. Trees then, of course, evolved to do different things within their ecosystems. I was watching another great video about how that happens, but that's another story for a different time. At any rate, we are surrounded here, even in northern Indiana, by lots of different kinds of trees that do lots of different things that have evolved for this particular ecosystem. I don't know if anybody can name exactly what this kind of tree is here, or even broadly. It's a conifer, right? Yeah, and so this one is then a deciduous tree, as is this one. This is also a deciduous tree. But also we've got large trees, and this is a redbud tree, a little hard to see. So this is a small tree. We've got trees that prefer to be open grown, full sun, trees that can be open grown in the full sun, but are also well adapted for growing in a forest. And then we've got understory trees, like the redbud. So different kinds of trees filling different kinds of spaces, and doing different kinds of things. And it's not just their size that differentiates them, but also other characteristics, such as the kinds of leaves that they have. So over here we've got pawpaw leaves. For scale, there's a hand, so you can see that those are big leaves. These are honey locust leaves here. For scale, there's a bit of a thumb here. It shows you that honey locust leaves are very small. And then, some different kinds of coniferous leaves, right? Needles. So this is white pine up here, and this is cedar here. And of course, the role of the leaves is photosynthesis. There is a later session that is devoted only to photosynthesis. So we're not going to go into great detail here, but photosynthesis is that's the engine of life for all plants, and really for life on Earth. We'll give this one a try here. This one's quite a bit shorter. So we've talked about some of the scientific aspects of what a tree is, but also then, what is a tree for us, for humans on this planet? I've got several different images of representations of trees here, right? Or associations with trees. On the far left, this is the Norse mythology Yggdrasil, which is the world tree or the universe tree that holds all of the different levels of existence within Norse mythology. There's a level for the dwarfs, and for the gnomes, and for the humans, and for the gods, and for the titans, and and the Jotuns, and but the whole world, the whole cosmology is built around a tree. So that's interesting. And then the next one from the left, that's the Buddha sitting under the holy tree of enlightenment. And legend has it that a cutting from that tree is still growing in Sri Lanka, 2,000 years old, a fig tree. And then the next one, that's a Christmas tree, right? And I mean, the Christmas tree has evolved from various different kinds of pagan rituals that date back thousands of years in Europe, right? So a tree, and then over all the way on the right, that's a depiction of Johnny Appleseed, who would have been living near to where we are right now, about 200 years ago, more than 200 years ago. And what was he doing? He was planting trees, which, I mean, is endlessly fascinating to me on various levels, but not the least which, because, I mean, he was going into a forested place, a place full of trees, and planting more trees, right? And there's clearly a colonialist edge to what he was doing, but planting trees. And what kind of trees was he planting? Planting apple trees, and that was meaningful for him and for the people that he represented in a number of ways. So different depictions, different representations of what a tree is and what a tree means. And then notice the tiny little figure down there at the bottom. So this is to me, this is kind of like an icon, almost more than a symbol. So it's something that I took from an industry right here in Elkhart County. What does this say to you? What does this mean to you? This icon, this image. What's being represented there? A green community. Mm-hmm. A home? In what sense, or what do you mean?
I mean, the house icon is it's got all of the elements of just like your stereotypical house. But the tree is very intentionally included.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, somebody thought about that.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Well, what do we see?
Yeah, what do you see, or what does this mean to you? What is this communicating to you?
Lower cooling costs.
Lower cooling costs? Yeah, okay, right on.
I mean, it's the injunction of what we make and what exists here. We have those coexist.
Yeah, okay. Cool. They can coexist.
You don't need to have one either.
Yeah, they can both be there. Yeah, right, okay. Good. So this is who it is. Like you were saying, Conrad, somebody thought very carefully and intentionally about this image, and what it means. It's designed to communicate something. If you take out the tree, you've got a house. But if you include the tree, again, Conrad, as you said, it becomes a home, which is, I mean, that's pretty powerful. And it's not just a tiny little lollipop tree, right? I mean, it's a tree that is arching out over the house, sheltering it, protecting it, kind of embracing it. And that's, I mean, so that's an important kind of recognition, human recognition of what a tree is and what a tree does. And what we're talking about today is, what is a tree? Maybe a tree is home. So that's, I just find that very interesting, that kind of iconography. And of course, I mean, it's all over the place. This is just stuff pulled off of the internet, not entirely off the internet. I mean, there's our own little logo. But I mean, this kind of imagery, iconography, symbolism is used broadly for all kinds of missions and different kinds of work. And I also included, I mean, this one down here. This is Adam and Eve at the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. I mean, that's a widely recognized kind of symbol for at least people, Judeo-Christian cultures. But using trees to represent something aspirational, something hopeful, something good, something precious, something that we want to care for or care about. So these also then represent what a tree is, alongside, you know, trying to define physically and chemically and scientifically what a tree is. And so I mean, I think that that's important to be aware of as we work with trees, whether it's in a you know, sort of a commercial arboricultural kind of way, or whether it's just, you know, learning to tend for trees at our houses or wherever we live. So, I mean, this is just kind of the way that I end the session. Back at where we began, what is a tree? And thanks to you guys, we came up with I mean, that's kind of a cool looking tree in some ways. So that's what I've got for what is a tree.